historical wrongs. He's demanding that those involved in the transatlantic slave trade be posthumously charged for crimes against humanity.
This is a big topic at the moment. It's being discussed around the world. Guyana President Mohamed Irfan Ali joins us live now from New York, where he's going to be addressing world leaders at the UN General Assembly on this subject later today. So we've got in early with you. OK, let me ask you a question, Mr. President, on behalf of all of our viewers who would be covered by this. Why should somebody who maybe had an ancestor 7 or 8 generations ago, long before they were a twinkle in their great-great-great-great-grandparents' eye, why should they have to pay now for what an ancient ancestor did? Or why should they apologise for what an ancestor did centuries ago? Why do they still carry that burden?
Oh, it's not a burden at all.
Right. You're most welcome to the Reason Show. Today, I'm going to show you a video, and then I also do this analysis about, first of all, there's no quality doctor or any professional doctor who intend to diagnose or help someone to cure or take care of his or her sickness without finding the root cause of your sickness or your illness, or they call it how you are suffering from those illnesses. So in an actual sense, in order for you to solve any problem, or as a doctor or as any health professional, you must know the history, the history of a patient's sickness. That's how doctors used to find a solution for any health problems. Now it's the same thing. In any circumstances or any other day that you see any person trying to talk about slavery, quickly you will see these European descendants, the slave masters' descendants, the so-called white folks, the so-called Europeans or Americans or any other person who at fault or who benefited from these slavery atrocities. Quickly they will send their media gangsters to come out to create mockery questions, to find a way to see your intent, to try to put a question, democratical question that they know that it will confuse you. The orchestrated governmental systems that it's created by their own slave forefathers, they know that as an Africans or any other colonial countries, you have no idea to understand what it takes to understand such principles of governance. So quickly they will send their media gangsters, the establishment, to come after you. Now, as a must watch that you need to pay attention. Watch this as if you're an African, or if you have interest about why Africa is not developing, or why the slave countries are not developing, and why the so-called European, the so-called advanced country has been where they are, building their country, building their roads. When you see the educated fools, and I'm putting out this, I am doing this video for the educated fools in Africa and in elsewhere, where you will see African, most dumb and puppet Africans. Whenever you see talking about Europeans, talking about the so-called white folks who think they are intelligent than the African, quickly you will see your own educated fools, they will come and defend the European. But in a normal principle, you have never seen any European defending the slave countries. I've never seen any European defending the African, whether African living in the Caribbean or living in the African continent. No European has ever come in defense of these victims. But you will see your own puppet and weak-minded educated fools coming out after you because you are talking about Europe. You are talking about something that they have no idea. Now, stay here. I'm going to show you a video of Guyana in Caribbean, Guyana president, which he has taken the issue to a different stage. Now, this president that you see here, Dr. Mohamed Idris Ali, he is saying that enough is enough of victimization, enough of injustice in the world. and to United Nations. So this Guyana president is taking up another bold step by going to United Nations to challenge them that United Nations is a body of gangsters, a body of mafias, where they are always supporting injustice to the extent that no other country, no other race have suffered injustice more than the slaves from Africa. And in this world, it looks like nobody should talk about slavery. Forgive and forget. Just shut up and move on. You can't talk about slavery. But when it happens to Ukraine, it's an issue. So I just want to stay here, see the analysis of this president from Guyana, where the spirit has come out and push him to speak out to challenge the United Nations General Assembly. So now, the reason why I'm doing this video is, you see, anytime you see any African or anybody having interest in the African matters, trying to expose the injustice and exploitation quickly, you see the European descendants, the slave master descendants, which they found themselves in the media gang, the media gang. They will come and pose the questions to who is asking those questions. It's interesting. And they see, these Europeans, the descendants of these slave gangsters, these guys don't want you to talk about slavery, but yet they want you to talk about Ukraine, that a crime against humanity in Ukraine, crime against Holocaust. That one is legit, but don't talk about slavery. This is a funny thing. And you know, most of educated fools in Africa, which they've been educated by the same Europeans, will still want you to perceive this bad narrative against the victims of Africa. Now, we have information world, and no media house can tell us what to say. So now, I'm going to show you this video. Just pay attention. The end will shock you. And how this Guyanan president in Caribbean schooled these media gangsters, media cabals, schooled them. Because when I'll show you sequence. You see, any question that they pose have a meaning and have a way of attacking the man, the president, because they will know the question that they can use to attack you and politically, which they know you don't understand, socially, globally. They have a bunch of questions that if you don't pay attention to global politics, you don't understand. You will never understand, because you don't want to understand how the world is run. So Britain have their own media sets, which they use them to pursue the African. The Europeans and the Americans also have their own media houses, which they always learn how to attack them and ambush any African who will stand up against their foolishness. Now, you see, all these social media platforms, Facebook and all these YouTube, they are all gangster cabals, because anytime they try to restrict you, because they own it, we don't care. They own it, and they always make sure they don't want you to talk about slavery, but better, you can talk about Ukraine. Ukrainians are suffering. Oh, Ukrainians are this. Damn. Ukrainians are suffering, right? That one is good. It's cause whatever. Crime against humanity. But don't talk about slavery. That one is known because it's an African issue. Don't talk about it. Africans are nothing. They have nothing in our face. We accept it. But you see, when you are dumb and you are uneducated, that's why you would think, because they have developed, they have good roads, they have good houses, they have this, so they deserve everything. They need to be need to be applauded for everything. But you don't have the reasoning that it is through something. That is why these people are there. You don't want to understand that reasoning. That is why I want you to reason with me. Dan, this is the reason. So stay here now. Watch the analysis between the Guyanan president and this media cabals, how they are going to pose the question, and they are uncomfortable. Why this guy is talking? In fact, that guy looks fair skin color. In fact, you see that president in Guyana, he doesn't look like me. So they are even shocked. Who is this guy? Don't you know that you look like us? You should shut up. Don't talk for these people. This is the intent. And in fact, when you see them in their balconies on their corner, they always say, who are these people that they always want to talk about slavery? No, we are not. Don't give them. Don't allow them. From the Asia to the east to the west, they always have a way to gag slavery discussion. They don't want slavery discussion to come on. They don't want to hear that they are uncomfortable. In fact, white folks or Europeans, They don't want to hear anything about slavery. If you tell them that, hey, shut up, you are benefiting from your foolishness of your forefathers, they say, no, it has been a long time. No. Listen, we have something called Heritage Fund. We have something called Future Plan. See, you are enjoying from your government federal reserve. Do you know where the reserve comes from? In your country, do you know where British gold reserve comes from? Have your father do a mining before? So when you are not much more interested, or you are not mature when it comes to global politics, and you see this colonization philosophy or theory, you will never understand. You think British they are wealthy, they are this. Do you know where the British gold reserve comes from? So when you go to Britain and you see good schools, good hospital, and the roads, it doesn't mean anything to me, because I know it's come from exploitation from different people, different country. It's the same thing in America. If you see America building, it is nothing. All the big businesses in America, all of them is funded by the government. Everywhere. You go to Europe, every company, every government in Western countries, they are interested and they protect their country, their companies. They are not playing. And they know how they use their companies to exploit weak countries like the African that they destroyed. So nothing surprises me if you go to this country. Nothing surprises me. Then we see, if you go to UK and you see good roads, so what? Because you are uneducated, you are poor in your mind, your brain, you have no idea that British have exploited so many countries. That's why they are able to get the seed money or the capital investment to build their country. So this is what is going to happen in United Nations. Stay here and now just take your time. If you really want to learn and understand the reason why you are scrambling on the floor from Africa or the Caribbean, it's not just by choice, by chance. It is somebody's work. And it's a perfect job for the Europeans and the Western countries. And they are not playing. I like them. They are doing a great job by destroying you. So if you continue to be fools and puppies and become educated fools speaking big English, you stay there and do that. And you will perish. Your generation will continue to perish in Africa. That is why everywhere you see Africans are taking the route to Mediterranean Sea, drowning. Nobody cares, because your educated fools will continue to let you perish. This is the reason, so we are here to reason now. So I'm going to show you a video of Guyana president taking the bold step of bringing the slavery to conversation. Because you can't let me discuss Hollywood or Disney. No, that's not important. No. They always want you to get you into their conversation. Now we want to bring them to our conversation. Now, see these media gangsters that they find themselves in the Western countries. We know them, because we've been doing the same job. We know how to ask ambush questions, how to destroy a good agenda, how to destroy good issues, good analysis. We know how, as a journalist, we pose a question to confuse you so that they shut you down. We know all this, and it's being financed by these Western governments. They pay them. They know how they know how the media has to work. So anything concerning Africa, they have the media gangsters and cabals to come for you. This is the reason. So now, let's see what this Guyana president is going to tell the whole world. Let's see.
You are one of the beneficiaries of that slave trade. So this is not a burden. You should be concerned, and you should pay, because you today are still benefiting from the greatest indignity to a human being, and that is the slave trade. And not only did you benefit during the slave trade and your country developed, but look at what it caused the developing world. During slavery, resources was used to build your country, build up your capacity. You were able to then become competitive. You were able to invest in mechanization, and developing countries like ours were left behind. So you should be very concerned, because you are a prime beneficiary of the exploits of slavery.
So put a figure on it, please, because it always comes down to the bottom line. How much should an individual taxpayer in a country like the UK be signing a cheque to a country like yours, Ghana?
Well, it's easy to calculate. We can use the time value of money. You can look at the period of slavery and the contribution not the contribution, the extraction of wealth from countries like ours, and how it was utilized to build your society, build your country, create wealth in your country, and then add the time value of money, and you will get the value. There's a lot of research paper on this. A lot of universities would have done paper on this. There's enough literature to tell us what that value is. But I want to say that it is not only the value, it is a loss of time, it is a loss of competitiveness, it is a loss of human dignity, it is a loss of our education system, it is the culture that we lost. It is all of this indignity that surrounded slavery that we must consider.
I just wonder, people will be wondering what, you explained that there are calculations, but are you able to say in what measure that would be? I mean, are we talking billions, millions? What would you expect the payout to be and over what period of time?
Well, you know, this year in Guyana, we commemorate the 200th anniversary of the Demerara Rebellion. And it took 200 years to get an apology from one of the families. I don't believe that you would want us to wait 200 years for reparative justice and for us to take this conversation forward. CARICOM would have set out a 10-point plan on what should constitute reparative justice and what should constitute reparation. And the calculation goes into billions for the region.
How far back, though, do we have to go on this? Because you make the point, we're talking exclusively here about Western imperialistic slavery, to summarise it. But almost every civilization on the planet owes its existence and its prosperity almost always to crimes in the past, be they aggressive wars, be they different forms of slavery involving different movements of population. You can go right back to the Greeks and the Romans. Why just target one particular era in history? Some would say that's the arguments of political convenience. It's a handy handle to hang your argument on.
I think you're doing a great injustice to compare slavery with any other of the historical facts that you're mentioning.
Thank you, Mr. President. So this is the problem that I always and continuously have with these European descendants. And anytime I meet them, I shut them down. Because you know why? You see how this European slave descendants sitting on this TV, calling himself a journalist, you see the strategic and politically motivated question to put to the the Ghanaian president that why do you post something that happened long years ago on us that you are targeting us? Listen. See, even a fool, if you give a fool $1 million, if you give a fool to $1 million, and you tell the person that I'm going to a place and I will come by the next month, even if, when you come, that person will still have any access of the same money. Even if it's a fool that has no financial knowledge, that person will still have something in his or her hand, right? So you see, it's only a fool who said, "Oh, it's not today European, but it's tomorrow European." Who did that? Yesterday European? No. The America you know yesterday was America today. The American foreign policy you know yesterday, it was today. And it is the same thing. If you see British behaving like they are intelligent because they have access of wealth, that wealth, we must check the source of the wealth. It's the same thing that when you do money laundering in all these countries, they will find a way to track you down. Do you think they care about the money that you are showing to them? No, they want to see the source of where you're doing the money come from. So they are telling you, do not talk about previous ancient time. Let's talk about today. And when I sitting down here, you want me to have a race with Usain Bolt from Jamaica. And look at me, I am not a sprinter. And you put me and Usain Bolt in a race, in a track. And you stand by as a referee and you whistle for between me and Usain Bolt. Do you think I can beat Usain Bolt down? It's only a fool who would think I can beat Usain Bolt. You know why? Usain Bolt have been taking long time to train as a sprinter and world champion. And you think I should shut up and do not speak out that Usain Bolt, I am not, you can't compare me to Usain Bolt. Do you think I should be a fool, damn fool to shut up? That's how the Europeans want you to behave. They want the African damn person to behave like, oh, don't talk about this. Don't talk about that today. We so-called white folks, we are intelligent. Just think that we are creating intelligence, we are creating AI, we are creating technology and development. We are showing you civilization. So shut up. And we are telling you, no doctor can solve any health issue without finding the root cause of that disease. It's only a damn doctor who will do that. It's only a damn doctor who will do that. But any professional or quality doctor, professional doctor, or educated doctor will find the root cause of your sickness before prescribing any medicine for you. So the major issue here is why Europeans don't want the African to talk about slavery, but they want you as damn educated fools in Africa calling themselves so-called presidents or whatever, be interested in issues and crime against humanity in Ukraine. Russians are causing Ukraine, whatever. That one be interested. But do not talk about slavery. Why and who caused that? Don't talk about that. Why Africa are being in that situation? Don't talk about that. And you think you sit in Africa and you want to compare yourself to Europeans or you develop like them, you are a joker. Because you don't understand geopolitics. You don't understand how and political strategy that these Western countries always manipulating the African continent. And it's a game. It is not a joke. They are not playing because you are the source of their income. And you are the source of their power. And that's real. Because for us right now, you can't take anything from American Reserve. Banks, you can't take anything from there because it's well protected. Ask yourself, why is it protected? Because it is the future. It is the future. So if you say Europeans protecting their interests in Africa, it is the future. It's only a damn person who still doesn't understand this geometrics. Then they think they go to Europe and speak this British big English. It makes them intelligent. You are a damn person. So that is why they created a media houses in the Western countries, BBC, CNN, Al Jazeera, all this Sky News in Australia, for them to pay attention to with any African who will bring conversation, African conversation. Don't talk about that. This is a reason. So I just want you to reason with me that at first they can throw that trash into them, but today we will punch holes in that. So Guyana president is questioning. They're telling them that hey, don't. You are being unjust. You are being unfair to the Africans, which you people claim that you have justice for in your countries, but you are being unfair to the extent that why are you telling me that you are not beneficiary to the slavery? These guys are beneficiaries. They are enjoying the seed that their forefathers planted. The corruption, the crime, atrocities, human killings, and everything happening in Africa and the Caribbean. Today, that's why you see Europeans feel comfortable, feel courageous that they are white folks. You are benefiting from it. But why do you say that we don't talk about this? Did my grandfather came to your country to exploit anything that you have in your country? No. But you, yes. So there's two different distinctions here that somebody must be listening to one another. You need to pay attention. You have caused problem. Accept that thing and we'll move on. But you see, they are very strategic and very technical that because they use that system for you to become poor, destroy your future generation. They know how they can manipulate you because when you have access of wealth, there's nothing you can control. When you have access of wealth, there's nothing you can control. You can control the narrative, you can control the news, you can control the media, the food, the brain, the health, you can control everything. And now this is what we call the Western gang. This is what we call the Western gang. And so when you sometimes, the only thing that pisses me off is, but sometimes I don't blame them too. You will see a typical educated fool from Africa. When people have a conversation about the root cause of the problem that we are seeing in all these global structures that they're taming the African, you see them coming out to tell us that, oh, forgive and forget, let us move on. You're moving on to where? You are, even your bathroom, you can't move on. You are moving on to where? Moving on from where? And going to where? And in fact, the results on the ground will prove us right. Which way? Ever since you want to move on with democracy or we want to see, we want to follow the suit of the international standards, where have you been? Is it not only IMF and World Bank that controls your economy? Even they finance your elections. Do you think they are playing? They are protecting their interests. So, as a young African, the only thing that will differentiate you from them is having external or self-education about international politics. And overhyping of European or the so-called white dude. You are hyping them too much. because that was the seed that their forefather planted in the brains of the African. So they have all this description for you. When you go to church and you see European, just go back, foolish comment, then you are accepting it. Anything European, standard, good. Anything from anywhere, bullshit, is no good. And you will take that. And they know how to create, manipulate your brain. So they always want to get us involved in their conversation. But whilst they don't want us to bring our conversation to the board, they don't like it at all. In fact, they are uncomfortable to see African talking about your problem, the problem that they cause for you. They don't want to hear. In fact, when you see European descendants today, they behave like they don't know anything history called Africa. They don't want to hear. But when they want the resource, they know, oh, China is taking control in Africa. Well, Mr. President, what are you doing about it? The person that you don't like to hear anything about it, the person's history, you are interested about somebody going there, that one, the media is interested. You see the double standard of these Europeans or Western countries. They are interested about exploitation. That's why I told you, they are protecting their future, their reserves in their country or the heritage funds and everything. They are protecting it by way of getting more to fill the gap. And do you think they will leave you, they will allow you, they will train you for you to fight yourselves? Because when it's African speaking good English, the thing is on top of the game. You are a dumb person. Very dumb. And the reason why I'm speaking English, because most of the African countries, they will understand me in English. And in fact, I want them, the Europeans also, to listen. I want them to understand that nowadays, we have uncovered the seed that they planted in the foolish educated fools in Africa. And now we know. And we are not taking that anymore. So, Guyana president is giving a signal to the United Nations that they should stop this bias, injustice that they portray to the Africans and claiming they like them. Now, you see, when they went to G7 and they see that now China and Russia are also struggling and trying to share Africa, now Western countries are shaking. So quickly, they invited them to G7, G20. You see that? They invited them to G20 meet there. So you see the strategy. Now they announced, oh, African Union, you can join us in G20. G20 for what? Is that what we need? G20 that we need? No, until the problem that G20, of course, that's what we need to talk about that first. But they have trained these charlatans, you say these weak politicians in Africa, which most of them will try to speak big English, and at the end of the day, they are going to beg for money to come good, whatever. But begging for money will never solve your economical issues. Going to IMF will never ever develop your country. We know. That is why they know when you continue to think and behave this way, all the younger generation will run away from the country and to come to their country and build their country for them. They are not playing. So you sit there, you see this idiot. You see those idiots that they call themselves educated fools living in Africa there. That's the problem. They are the worst enemies that I have ever seen, because they represent the foolishness of the Western puppets. They represent them and they defend them. That's why they give them awards, creating institutions, in whatever right, whatever association, whatever group. They know how they will operate for them. But they don't want you to bring anything to talk about. You see, no builder or no masonry, or if you a contractor or construction engineer, you cannot build a foundation, a house without proper foundation. And if you want to build, when you go to the sea or the land to build, you check the land that you can have a good foundation. So all these African countries, the foundation is not good. Somebody set the wrong foundation for the countries. So that's why every time you are shaking, especially in Ghana, they have First Republic, Second Republic, Third Republic, Fourth Republic. Are you normal? Is things okay there? This is a political system. And why can the country have almost four republics? Is it normal to you? But it's only been normal for educated fools who still don't understand how the world is operating. That everyone is defending their interest. So Africa is a source, or is a basket, food basket, which we have to protect our interest. That is why you see them, they are not playing. They have the media gangsters, media cabals in the West, that they know how to attack any African who will bring any conversation about our root cause of our sickness. They don't want you to come in. They just don't want you to come in at all. No, don't bring that in. We don't need that. That is why they've taken time to pay the government. All these countries are paying all these social media giants. So make sure you push unnecessary content to them. Don't let them do anything. When they are talking about something, use strategy to shut them down. We call it fact checking. In Facebook, or they will shut you down. Oh, it's a fact checking. What you are telling is this is misinformation. But when they are saying it, it's a proper information. And because you are African, you need to take that. You have to take it because you are nobody. You are just a supporting base, a spare tire. United Nations needs Africa to fill their table, their chairs. They need them to come and fill the chairs. And they will go and pick one African to be one day to come and become the Secretary General, and they control them, manipulate the system, manipulate him, and he always represent what they tell them, the international standards. Because by the time you African leader coming to join the United Nations, somebody who wrote the standards, the charter. It's not you, and it has been following the sequence. You have to follow the procedures of United Nations. So when you come, it is not you. You are just coming to read it, follow the procedure. You are not coming to change anything. So did your father wrote that charter? No. Did your mother did that? No. So when somebody did that thing, they know the consequence, the purpose of that. They know the backing, the interest, how the United Nations is going to serve as a tool to control some people for us so that we can be on top, become the giant, the master, the developed countries. But we are saying that, do you know the source of British gold reserve? No, you don't know. That's why you are, when you are having a conversation, you think, no, why are you saying this? No, we don't need this. You don't understand how country is built. You think somebody will just give you a loan and then you build your country. And all the loans come with a strange attach. That is why you sit in your country, you are talking about, and they are forcing us to accept homosexuality. Yeah, you are going to do to them to take their loan. They are in charge. So they will tell you what to do. So Guyana president has taken the bold steps, trying to challenge them, expose them that, hey, shut up. You, these media guys, you are all beneficiaries of slave atrocities in Africa. The killings of our mothers and our fathers. The murdering that you caused in Lynchburg in Virginia, if you go to Lynchburg, they lynch people. You are beneficiaries. If you go to Michigan, if you go to Missouri, Mississippi, how they destroyed the African race, you are beneficiary. So today you must pay the price. And quickly, as I told you, the media, the Western media have been trained how to ambush any African who will come with this conversation with questions. Now, the most stupid question that you see these media houses or in this Western country will ask any African who will talk about slavery is, how much do you want us to pay? When you talk about, sometimes they say, we want them to pay reparations. They will ask you, how much do you want us to sign the check for you? Now, listen here. You understand where I'm coming from.
I was including other forms of slavery. No, but I was including other examples of slavery as well.
To the indignity that slavery brought to people, that is the first thing. And I'll give you an example. Coming on to your program a few moments ago, you were speaking about net zero and climate justice. We are speaking about, the world is speaking today about climate justice and compensation and how we address the issues of climate change. And this is the problem. We live in a very unjust society. You know, we condemn completely the war in Ukraine. But if you look at the mobilization of resources in the war in Ukraine, in 2 years, you have mobilized more support for Ukraine than we have mobilized for Haiti for 60 years. You have mobilized more support for Ukraine than we have mobilized for Palestine for 20 years. You have mobilized more support for Ukraine in just 1.5 years than we mobilized to address the issue of hunger in Africa for 3 years. And that is the type of, unjust way we have been dealing with these crises. And we are not going to tolerate the injustice that occurred during slavery to be compared with any other system. Slavery, we all agree, was the greatest injustice ever done to human beings. So we should not ever try to compare this to any other system.
No.
There is no other system that has created greater injustice than slavery and indignity to humankind in slavery.
President Ali, I wonder if I can talk to you about another issue.
Now, here we go. Now, they are going to ambush the president. Now, this is a strategy that I always learn, always having time to learn I learned about the strategy of the Western media. Now, this woman is going to ambush the president about the incompetency. You know, they are going to tell you, oh, you are talking about slavery, but your country is not doing well. You have this, you have that. That's a strategy. They know. They will help you to cause the problem, and they use this as a tool to expose you to confirm that you are incompetent, you have no idea, you have knowledge about government. That is why you are suffering, because they know what they are planted. So now, see, this woman is going, this you see, Kabah media gangsters, they are going to change the narrative to go back to your country and see that confirmly that your country is not doing well. So why are you not talking about that? Now listen, here we go.
You raise it there. Guyana discovered crude oil in 2015, and by some accounts that makes your country the world's fastest growing economy and will be one of the largest per capita oil producers in the world by 2030. What responsibility do you feel now as an oil producer amidst the warnings of climate catastrophe?
Well, it is not what responsibility we feel now. It is the responsibility we have always held close to us. We have a forest the size of England and Scotland combined, with the lowest deforestation rate in the world at 0.036%. The entire forest is R3 certified, quality carbon, and this has been standing there forever. The question is, what has the world done with that standing forest? Is forest worth more dead or alive? So these are the questions. So
now, see, let me open this agenda here. You see, these Western countries and their media Kabah think they are very smart than anybody to the standard. You see this. Anytime you see them using a confused word, I call it a confused word of, oh, you are the fastest growing economy. How many times have you heard this strategic word description from these people to them? How many times have you ever heard this word? Every time. Anytime they want to let you feel comfortable, they will come and tell you your economy is the fastest growing economy. After that, do you think that country can compare to America or the so-called developed countries? It is a confused word for the fools to understand that, so that they will feel comfortable. It is a confused word for the puppet government to feel good, so that they can even milk the country, because they have a data from their masters to use to convince their voters. Listen to the argument. Listen to the discussion. I'm reasoning with you. See, no serious country will allow these Europeans to come and give them description about you are the fastest growing economy, yet these people are struggling. Their people are dominating their country. That the investors are taking money out of the country. You can't challenge them. Embassies are gagging the country with any programs and policies to destroy the younger generation, and you said it's the fastest growing. It's only be faster where the Europeans are getting their way out in the country. That's why you continuously hear that West. Anytime you hear Europeans coming out to say, especially the IMF or the World Bank say, your economy is the fastest growing economy. Quickly, you must pay attention. One, it's either the European embassies are exploiting the country. They are exploiting the country. Or yet, two, the president has been a puppet for them. That president has been a listening president. That is why you get that description. In fact, you have never seen them describing China as fastest growing economy. No, they don't want to talk about that. They don't. Whether Saudi Arabia or Iran, no, they are not interested. They always use that words for their puppet governments. Don't you see? When you don't pay attention to political strategy or the geopolitics, you will never understand these issues. And they are very quick to use the media to come and tell you that, oh, we have done this barometer, we have done this research. It shows you are fastest growing economy, so that the puppet politician who does not pay attention will never ever work hard, so that you always depend on this data, so that you can use it to change the narrative of your voters. They are not playing. These guys are not playing. So you see, whenever they train their media cabals to come and ambush you, they use that word in their conversation, in their questioning, so that they will confuse you and you think they are there for you, but yet they are ambushing you through the media. And let's see how this Ghanaian president, if he's quite knowledgeable enough to understand the games of this Western media. Now, let's see how he responded to them.
We have always been a part of the answer. And although we are a newcomer to the petroleum industry and the oil producing industry, we have said very clearly that we support the removal of subsidy on exploration and we support a carbon tax. We also said that we support a balanced approach. And coming on this program, I heard that we are going to go back on some of the policies in the UK on petroleum and EVs and so on.
Yep.
So what is the balanced approach?
Okay,
the balanced approach is how do we get the petroleum company around the table? This cannot be, we cannot go into...
If you watch the inscription down there, so you see how Guyana's oil boom, listen, it's a game, it's a propaganda. You see, Guyana oil boom. So they are trying to create an impression. See, these guys are very technical. See, they are trying to create impression that you guys have oil boom, yet you are not developing. It means, one, the only word they use for them is you are corrupt, you are indecisive, you are incompetent. So don't talk about slavery. So they are changing the conversation from one point to another. They ambush you. So anytime you see them, the media, the Western media, trying to destroy any conversation about the African issue, quickly they bring one male and female. They know how to ambush the African politician. They know anybody that raises any concerns about the African enslavement, they will know how to ambush them. Now you see, the man of the guy on the set will hit the man here, and the woman will also hate the man here, the president here. So they know how to confuse the conversation. So at the end of the day, they destroy the game. They will never ask you straight questions. No. They won't allow. That's the work of the media. So the reason why I'm trying to give this analysis is I'm coming from there, and I know what time it is. So that's why I'm having time to explain to the young Africans to pay attention to the media. Anytime the Western governments want to possess or propagate anything, they use the media. And when they don't want you to have any conversation about the African people or the country or the atrocity that they are for their cause, they bring the media to come and interview you. So one day that I wish that African governments will decline interviews from these people. That is where they will see that people are serious in the continent. Because whenever they come, they know their intent. They are coming to pick, they are documenting something to go and give to their masters. They are documenting something to give their government so that they will know the next plan. But most of the African leaders, they think it's normal for me to talk to BBC or CNN. They don't know that it's an agenda. When they want to take Gaddafi down, they send Christian Amanpour. The next day, it happens. And then the guy is gone. Yes, they don't play at all. Christian Amanpour went there. Gaddafi think, oh, she's a female, let me allow her, and then they talk, they see the intent, and then it comes on like coincidental. So you don't play with these people. They are not joking at all, and they think they are better than you. So you are Africa, you deserve this. Don't compare yourself to us because you are not human beings like us. Only time that you see that you are a human being is when we need you to do something for us. That is where you are a human being. But if you don't pay attention and you are a shallow person, you will never understand this. And the reason why your country cannot develop until you are able to solve this root cause, that you have chased them, you have pushed back. When you push back and you chase those crazies out from your corner, that is where you will start to have your own system. Because for their system, the so-called standards are not there for you. In fact, when you check even business standards, it confuses the African not to do business. When you check business standards, it confuses the African. Because the business models are not for you. When you apply it, you fail. That is why most in African countries, most people start business, and when they want to start from the book, they go down. When they want to start from the philosophies and the theories from these people, they go down. Only few are able to go through the system. So when a puppet is positioned in a certain office to assist you to roll your business, no, that person is rather coming to attack your business. Because that person thinks you must go accordingly to the book, the standards, the European or Western standards. But the Chinese defy that us. The Chinese defied the Western or European standard. They defy it. And now, whether you like it or not, the China controls the world. The world is made in China. The world is made in China. You can go and bend the sea. So, as a race or as a people, if you really want to understand or win or fight, possess or perceive an agenda on an issue, you must first understand your opponent. If you don't understand your opponent, you can't compete with them. So the Chinese took a time to understand Europeans and these Western masters. They got time to understand them. They learn how their ways and means of doing things. That's why they're able to defy the odds. They have the population as we have. We are more than them because the world does not tell the truth and they lie, they will do their wrong census. We are more than them. But they will tell you China have 1.4 billion population in Africa is 1.2. It's all lies. So, you see, the Guyana president have done something marvelous that it shouldn't reach there. We are waiting to hear that, and then we see how the United Nations is going to react. And I always say, United Nations need Africa to fill their benches. That's only. That's why when you see African leaders talking United Nations, nobody sit there, no serious president sit there, they just walk out and no, they leave them talking to the chairs. But they want you to fill the seats. African leaders fill the seats for them to make beautiful pictures. They are all saying this. The African leaders are saying. Kenya president said this last time. President Akufo-Addo went there telling the Ghanaian president also saying this, that they are taking advantage of slavery and then they're destroying the future of Africa. He said that in the United Nations General Assembly. They know they are just coming there to fill the chairs, the tables and chairs over there. Because now nobody is taking anything serious from you. Count the countries, 54 countries, bigger than any country that we see, based on reality. And bigger than any country in Europe, but yet they don't have any seat in Security Council. So these are the things that they are educating the educated fools in Africa that they don't understand this. They think I have really any Marxist theory. I have learned this from Einstein. I've learned this from what the so-called communism. So no, what you are talking is not this. And now the world is moving where? You are running away from the world. The world is where it is. You are running away because you are learning something foolish. That's why you are running away. You are moving. You are chasing something that you have no idea. So they always want to get us into their conversation. And the painful part is they train our own people to attack the people who are exposing them. And you get the African, those who are dumb and think shallow, thinking they can speak British English, big English, and they make them intelligent. At the end of the day, they become useless when you go to their countries and you see the kind of job that they are doing as so-called professionals. You decide not to respect these people because they don't deserve any respect. They are just bogus people taking positions because of how they've been trained, and they feel they're big and wearing the seat. They think they are there. They are just empty like a trash. Weak people. They are very weak people because they don't understand the causes of their problem. Do you think it's just by chances and you like every day you see Africa deteriorating? Do you think it's by chances? They are not joking at all. They quickly train the people, change the narrative, create the media, put the embassies out there, and then they set the narrative and they are sweeping to everybody. This is the problem that we need to shut it down. Stop them. You don't allow anybody to bring any conversation. We don't bring us into your conversation. Take your turn. They will think, the word is universal. Universal in the interest of somebody, not you. If it's in universal, they must not bring globalization. If the word is universal, or the word is that we depend on each other, then we must not bring globalization. How can you bring me in the boxing ring with Mayweather? Do you want Mayweather to kill me in the name of globalization? Do you want Mayweather to kill me? Common sense, reasoning. Reason with me. Learn something different from what they are telling you. If you're a young African, you don't understand. If you don't understand globalization, I can import my second-hand goods or inferior goods to you, but when you are bringing it, you must reach the standard. You must reach our standards. No, we don't need this. We will need this. We will tell you what we need. But we will ship everything to your country. You can't stop it. This is a reason show. So we are reasoning. I want you to reason with me as a young Africans. One day, most of you will be aspiring for political positions. You must pay attention and understand global politics and how globalization will destroy the African continent. You want to put me in the name of globalization, Ghana to face China? Are you okay? Whilst even one city, Beijing, GDP is bigger than the whole country called Ghana, and you think it's normal because of globalization? Yeah. No, that's not fair. That's not fair. That's not fair. And you cannot, and I'm repeating, you will continue to struggle, scramble on the floor like a crab, because the system in place is against you. That is why sometimes if you go to Ghana, if you like in Ghana, like you see people, so-called government agencies, they are like you are their enemy. They are shaking. They are chasing people, destroying people's business. They are shaking. Something pushes them because they want to reach the target of their masters. They don't relax at all. Most of them, maybe not all of them, but most of them, they're like, this you need to do this, you need to reach this standard. Especially when you go to pharmaceutical industries in Ghana, shaking. Last time somebody was giving information, my goodness, terrible thing happened there. No, you don't qualify to do this. You must come from India. You must come from China. You don't have these standards. You don't have this capacity, this logistics and equipment. Hey, yeah. Do you think it's normal? So you continue to only be in the bottom. Every time you see us in the bottom, peanuts, small businesses. That's what they call us. Small businesses. Startup business. That's what we can do. Because the system will always shut you down, taming you down, bringing you down. You don't qualify. You don't have the standards. But the Chinese will use the same thing and do it and send it through globalization and send to your country. And you use it. And in fact, the main intent is make sure this country become a consumable economy, whether you like it or not. We will make sure they become a consumable economy. So you don't produce, you don't manufacture, just be consumers, so that we can consume what we produce. And it's a game, and I like that. They are playing the game to suit their interest. So it is your responsibility to also stop it. We don't need this, we need this. Gaddafi did it, he did not get the support, they take him down. I don't need a second-hand goods in my country. We will produce that. If you want to bring your factory here and produce the clothes, brand new clothes. And they say, no, this guy is becoming stubborn. No, this guy must be deleted. We need to delete him. We have to delete this guy. Why don't you allow us to ship our second-hand goods to your country? And what happened to Libya? They are suffering. This is a reason show. Yeah, let's continue to watch the Guyana president exposing the descendants of European colonial gangsters.
28 with two extreme ends.
All right,
Everyone needs to be around the
Mr.
table
President,
we can have commitment from all the stakeholders.
OK, Mr. President, you make that clear very briefly now, because we're over time here. I know you've got to go and we've got to move on as well. But very briefly, coming back to where we came in, one of the points you're going to be making today is about our royal family. And you feel that it's not just about the finances involved here in terms of reparations for slavery, it's about the gestures. And you think that the British royal family should make a big gesture, don't you? What do you mean? Hand over a palace to your country?
Now, so you see the foolish question that the journalists asked the president. Hand over the palace to you. You see, they are very uncomfortable. They are very angry when they see anybody talking about the African issue. So when Africans say this, or anybody other person passes this comment, quickly they will tell you are uncivilized, you are very aggressive, you are a violent person. But did you see that this idiot sitting there, this charlatan, this slave gangster sitting there, telling you, do you want us to hand over our palace to you because you enslave you? So you see the nonsense So in fact, if you don't pay attention, you will never understand. So you see how these European slave gangsters children are behaving. They disrespect you, but they want you to respect them. So you see the foolish question that this guy sitting there telling the president, the president for Guyana, do you want our royal family or the British monarchy to hand over their palace to you? It is an insult. It is an insult to the integrity of the president. In fact, when you did this to them, they will feel angry. And in fact, they will use their M5, BN, CIA to come for you. It is insult to them. But you, they want you to take it as normal. In fact, when you tell this to British, quickly all the media gangsters will come together and they will send their M5 to come and see who is this person. They will track you to expose you. This is very terrible situation that young Africans will find ourselves. So the guy is so disrespectful to the president. He's so uncomfortable. They have been paid to come and destroy the conversation. Don't allow any African to use our media that we build to possess any conversation about slavery atrocities. So you see the bogus question and useless and foolish question that the journalists asked the president, that you are talking about slavery. So do you want for us to give our palace to you so that you will be okay? You see how disrespectful these journalists are. Yeah, they know what they are saying. So they know what they are doing. So if you sit in Africa calling yourself I'm a journalist, I want to go the European standards, I want to be like BBC, CNN, you are a damn joker. So you see the demeanor of that journalist sitting there. And he's lucky that he's talking to the president. In fact, if I was me, that guy will even walk away from that studio, because I'm going to lay ambush, eye to eye, tit for tat to him, and he will run away from the studio. That's why this is the approach that they need. Europeans need a hateful approach, because they have hurt us and they still continue to hurt us with their foolish description. That is why I don't play with, when I meet these Europeans, I don't play with them. If you respect me, I respect you. If you bring your foolishness, you'll regret it. They are violent in suit, but because we don't wear suit, they quickly see our violent and they think, oh, you people are violent. But these people are very crude. They are crooks. They are violent. The level of violence these people can cause to your brain, it is unthinkable. So this is where you have to learn how to tackle the approach, and we know how to handle them. Because this guy sitting in this media, this platform there, he cannot stand on me. Because by the time you finish that question, I know how I'll shut you down. And I'm not just coming to talk any humble way for you to feel good that you are a journalist. I'll rubbish you. I'll give you the rubbish response. I'll give the rubbish response to affect even all your family. This is the nonsense, because they are attacking the president to affect the president and the whole generation. That because you are talking about slavery injustice, do you want us to give our palace to you? So you see the insult, the disrespect, and the bullying. Oh my goodness, these guys are taking in, they are going scot-free. Anyway, the young generation will learn one step, and then one day they will meet them. Yes. So you see that they have intent. The intention is to shut this president down. That's really shut the president down. Don't allow him to possess any conversation. Now, let's keep on listening to the president's response.
Well, no, we don't want the British to hand over a palace that we built. You know, if you go into many of the palaces in Britain, you will see the lovely green heartwood from Guyana. You will see the sweat, tears, and blood of the slaves who were exploited.
So what do you want?
And the revenue that was earned from their exploitation.
So you see
we're
he's
not
laughing.
asking for a palace.
You see how
we're
he's
asking
laughing?
for justice and a fair form of justice to the ancestors and to the greatest injustice that has ever been done to human beings.
We look forward to
We're not asking for palaces. You can enjoy the palace, and when we visit you, we'll also enjoy it.
Mr. President, we really look forward to your speech later on today to the UN. I'm sure there'll be much coughing and shuffling.
Okay, so this is a strategy that they keep on pushing this agenda to destroy the young Africans so that they confuse them by training them, brain drain in Africa, taking all of them to go and take care of their old people in their countries, doing all possible means to confuse the African puppet politicians so that the younger generation will run away from the country, so that they can continue to suck the blood of the sufferers. So after that, they get the money to sponsor these media cabals so that they also make sure they put checks to any African who will bring any conversation about the African exploitation, the stealings and the stealings of their raw materials and destroying their systems so that they can always be intelligent and be the masters of the game. So this is what the analysis that we have to have. We need to always listen, pay attention to this. It's not about the music. You shouldn't think about too much about a BET or whatever it was. No, the young Africans must listen to this. Discuss every day. Let them feel uncomfortable. If they feel uncomfortable, you see the real side of them. Let the Europeans feel uncomfortable, but they are comfortable when they are dealing with African issues. But when Ukraine issue started, you see the quick move that they have done within two years. Yes, because Ukraine is Europe and it's their own backyard. But when it happens to Haiti, it happens to Palestinian, it happens in any part of Africa, it's bullshit to them. It's BS. They don't need that. And they will come to tell you, oh, okay, we will come to give you aid. You pay for that. No, there's no aid in Africa. There's no aid in Africa. Stop that nonsense. What is aid? You will pay that in trillions. This is a reason show. And you must pay attention to this Western media. At first, they can pass through and then go scot-free. But this time around, we are giving them checks and balances. And when they hate, we can hate more than them. But the only thing, they have the platform. But when the Africans start to listen to the right information, they are not talking to anybody. We are not listening. And we don't take them serious. And when they hate, we know how to hate times two. You see, this video, share to those Africans who are dumb that they don't understand politics. They don't understand global politics. Let them think twice. Stop defending Europeans. Stop defending and overhyping Europeans. Because they don't hype you. They always make sure you go down. Why are you still doing that to your people? Because you are weak? Because you think shallow? That's why you're overhyping Europeans? And I'm telling you on authority today, if you go to America or Europe and you see good roads, good schools, good health, it is not news. Because they had the access of what to do that. And we didn't educate them to think negative. They educate themselves about how they want their future to look like. But the reason why your politicians or your leadership or your academians cannot do the proper thing is how they've been taught. So until we have our own system, own way of educating ourselves to suit our system, forget about those people. And you continue to cry if you don't want to learn something different. Vic, Mitchell, Vic, thank you for joining me, the legend. Vic, thank you for joining me. This is a reason. So I want to reason with our people. Stop overhyping the European or the so-called white folks. Stop overhyping them because they have caused a lot in the damage in your brain and in your systems. Because the reason why you see your politicians or your governmental agencies attacking you, not defending you, not protecting you is somebody trained them. And that's why they are behaving that. And you must understand European style of globalization, the style, the political strategy to make sure they destroy your system. And you think you are going somewhere. You are not going anywhere. That's why I told you, anytime you see the European media cabals using the word, oh, your country is the fastest growing economy, pay attention. It's either they are getting way of the money that they are extorting from the country, taken away, or the government in power are now serving as a puppet. They are making the government is a listening government to them. You must pay attention. Understand politics. Stop crying because you don't want to learn. This is the problem that we are having. You think somebody is wearing suit, speaking big English, mixing that person intelligent. They are damn self. They are damn. So that's why I said this video, the educated fools in Africa must learn this. Listen to this video and see how the descendants of European slave gangsters, their children are protecting their fathers because they don't want you to have any conversation about European atrocities they cause in Caribbeans and in the Africa. They don't want you to have any conversation, but they want you to think, feel so humble and so sad for what happened in Ukraine. That one is injustice, causing crimes against humanity. You see their word, crime against humanity in Ukraine. But in Africa, no. If you go to Lynchburg in Virginia, that one, no. If you go to Mississippi, no. If you go to Missouri, no. If you go to Chicago, no. That one is not atrocity. It's not injustice. That one is not crimes against humanity. Africans are not humans. You are not. The day that you see the Europeans or the so-called white folks like you is the way the day that they need you to help them to do something. That is why all these African leaders, they bunch them, a bunch of educated gangs, they send them to United Nations General Assembly to fill the chairs. They are not going to, nobody is going to listen to them. No, you are not bringing anything. We set the standard. Just follow out what you are saying. That is why Facebook, all these tech giants, they don't want you to talk about these sensitive things. You don't talk about this. This is your misinformation. But when Europeans are saying that one is information, you should listen. Nonsense. This is absolutely nonsense. So when you see Africans behaving that, you must find the root cause. No doctor, I repeat, no doctor can solve any illnesses without finding the cause of the problem. It's only damn doctors who do that. So you cannot solve the African problem where you don't understand how these people enslave the people there, how they kill the people, they destroy them, they assassinated them, destroying the Africans. Auntie Tilly, thank you for joining me. Auntie Tilly, thank you. Thank you. Mama, I salute you, Mama. So we the people must re-educate ourselves from that. And if you see these Europeans, media gangsters, they are not playing at all. They know how to ambush the African presidents because they have been taught to make sure don't allow anyone to have any conversation about slavery. So they know how to attack you. And as I told you, anytime you see this Western media coming for any African leader, they bring one woman, one man. And they know left corner anywhere they can hit you with their points. One will attack you through economic failures. One will attack you through your character. One will attack you about incompetencies. But they don't want you to deal with the substance of the case. That we are talking about the causes that your forefathers have caused to the African countries. As the Guyana president says, I'm going to United Nations to let them know the United Nations is a puppet. You are injustice people. You support injustice. Because when it happened in Ukraine, less than 2 years, everyone should go down and then say, oh, Ukraine, crime against humanity in Ukraine. But over 400 years, these people say, don't talk about anything about Africa. Just be where you are. So just want you to reason with me. I know the Facebook or this tech giant, they don't want us to talk about this. They shut our mileage down, everything. But hey, if you really want to learn, this is the content. The reason why you got your political presidents or all these leadership or these academians or this so-called elite attacking your society, don't want you to move on, is the reason that I'm telling you. It is not by chance. It's a choice that they have given it to them. So until we are able to push back, until we are able to stand against these idiots, we won't go anywhere. We will never go anywhere. Because you see how they disrespect the president, telling them that, oh, you are talking about reparations. Okay, how much do you want us to give it to you? It's a stupid question, one. Secondly, oh, you are talking about the British monarchy that they did assassinate, they did all these atrocities in Africa. So what do you want? Do you want us to give our palace to you? It's an insult. It's a disrespectful question because they know they want to shut the conversation down. They are not playing. This is a reason show you're from Odesheba. Ghana phone now video. The reason why I come from phone say I just want most of African people to understand this some things. We must pay attention to the media because they are the agents of destruction. The Western media, they are the agents of destruction. They are not playing with any African leader. Don't bring any conversation about Africa. Let us be where you are. Thank you for joining me. Auntie Tilly, thank you. I'm Vic. Thank you. You can share the page, follow us, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Our small time that we can get, we can do self-education, and we need to always make sure to pay attention to this Western media cabals and gangsters. And we'll continue to remember ourselves. We always have to remind ourselves. We also have to recognize what slavery atrocities have caused or have damaged the brains of the African today African. We know all these things, so we must always have to remind ourselves about these people, because you cannot compete your enemy whilst you don't understand him or her. You'll be a failure. Thank you. We will meet another time. Thank you.